This thing is bright.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. Today, we are going to be reviewing a brand new trail running shoe from Brooks. It is the Brooks Catamount. Meow. Before we get into the review, two things. One, thank you everyone who participated in GRGR last week. We not only ran 27,000 miles together over the course of the week, but we achieved 2.4 million feet of vert. All the results are over at rungrgr.com. If you did not get to participate, you can go check out the results. It was super fun. So thanks everyone for participating. And secondly, these shoes were provided for review by Running Warehouse. I am under no obligation to say anything. I can say whatever I want about the shoe, which is what I'm going to do today. Let's get into it. I have been super excited to review the Brooks Catamount ever since I saw this in person over a year ago at Western States 100. I also wanted to be sure to try to review it around the same time that I reviewed the Hoka One One Torrent 2. They're very, very similar shoes. A lot of things going for both of them. This is Brooks's brand new addition to their trail lineup. Not only is it responsive and protective, it's a fantastic trail ripper that is meant to go fast and take names. Literally. Getting its name from that of a large mountain cat, the Catamount is an exciting shoe with a lot of interesting design choices. This shoe was designed for Brooks's elite racers at the Western States 100. You can see some of these design influences carry over to the consumer version, such as spaces to write the names of your crew members, the GPS line of the Western States 100 course in various locations on the shoe, and the white color that will allow you to paint the shoe with your story in dirt. Yep. That DNA Flash midsole is back. It's the same nitrogen-infused foam from the Hyperion Tempo, which I reviewed a while back, now with a protection plate and more aggressive full-lugged outsole in place, making it a real dynamite trail kicker. So this is a fun and responsive shoe that is trying to do a lot, but does it try a little too hard? We're actually going to cover a lot of that in today's review. As always, I like to talk about the things I like and dislike about a shoe, the Brooks Catamount. Let's start, as always, with things that I like. Protection. So the shoe actually does a really wonderful job of protecting your foot on all of those gnarly technical trails. Designed here in the Pacific Northwest, I know that they took that into account. So if you're dealing with rocky surfaces, rooty surfaces, if you're going technical, you're gonna have tons of protection from underneath. So not only with the outsole rubber, but the rock plate in that nitrogen-infused midsole, plus the DNA Flash midsole being more on the responsive end of things, everything your foot encounters from below is not going to feel like a lot. You're going to get tons of protection, which is a good thing. Snappy. So one thing I do like about the DNA Flash midsole, which is again a carryover from the Hyperion Tempo, and one thing I really liked about that shoe, is just how snappy it feels underfoot. It has a little bit of give, a little bit of cushion, but it definitely leans into the responsive end. So when you want to pick up the pace and you want to go fast, the shoe's going to be right there with you. In addition to the rock plate, as I mentioned, that's in that midsole, you aren't getting a lot of flexibility, but what you are getting is a nice snappy toe off. It's going to help you go fast. And if you're already fast, it'll help you go faster. Also, similar characteristics to other shoes that I reviewed on this channel very recently, like the Salomon Sense Ride 3, the Torrent 2, some of the Topo mountain racers. The Catamount holds its own. Durability. So the shoe is actually holding up much better than I anticipated. I have just over 80 miles in the shoe at this point, and not only is my story not seeping into the mesh as I would hope, but it's not coming apart. Wear and tear is really reduced on the shoe. It's holding up surprisingly well. So the overall durability of the Catamount has impressed me a lot. And I've, taken this on some moderately technical trails, and so far so good. One thing I want to point out is that the tongue actually says along here, designed and built for 100 miles of run happy. I actually got clarification from Brooks that that does not mean that the shoe lasts for 100 miles and then just stops. It also doesn't mean that once you hit 100 miles, you're all of a sudden running sad. It's in fact a shout out to the fact that the shoe was designed for the Western States 100 and the runners that were racing that. So Brooks says it's supposed to hold up for hundreds of miles. I'm finding that it's actually doing surprisingly well at about 80 plus miles at this point. So I believe it. Nice and durable. Better than I thought. That being said, it's not all chicken fingers and buffalo sauce. There are some things that I dislike about the Brooks Catamount. Let's get to those. The design. So I get it. They designed a white shoe that you would paint with the dirt of your experiences as you run in it more and more. So the shoe had a story to tell. I get it. I interpret the fact that they included a place for you to include your crew's names, that they included the GPS line of the Western States 100 course, that the dirt it sucks up after 100 miles of blood, sweat, and misaligned peeing, that you would be able to take this shoe and mount it on a wall or on a shelf and be able to look back on it and see the stories that this shoe could tell. Chef's kiss to the marketing department, but there isn't a shoe in my lineup that I have run a 60+ mile race in that has made it back inside. Most of those shoes tend to stay outside. They probably get the hose. So I get it. I understand why they made those decisions. A part of me just thinks like, is it too much? And do people want their shoes to be the trophy or to be the story? That ultimately is going to be up to the consumer and the person willing to run in a pristine white shoe for a long time until it gets dirty. Because obviously after 80 miles, maybe I'm just not sweating enough. And finally, price. The Catamounts are about $159, which is a pretty expensive price, especially when you're comparing it to other shoes like the Torrent 2 or the Topo Mountain Racer, the Salomon Sensorite 3. All of those are 20% or more less money than the Catamount. So it's an expensive shoe. So we'll see how many people have the extra dollars to spend on something like this. It's an exciting shoe, but it also raises a couple questions. So I guess we'll have to see. But that is actually it for dislikes. So in conclusion, the Brooks Catamount is something that did surprise me. I was excited about it because it is a trail variation of the Hyperion Tempo, which is one of the Brooks shoes that I really did enjoy, the road version. So being a trail version, I knew I would probably take to it. And the DNA Flash midsole is holding up really well. It's very snappy, very fun, responsive ride. It really kind of comes down to the design and the cost. That's where I'm going to probably have my biggest qualms with the Catamount. Let's get a little bit more specific. Build quality, as I mentioned, the shoe is holding up incredibly well. There's a lot of protection underfoot and durability is top notch at this point. I'm really excited to see how far I can go in the Catamount. Comfort, it's not going to be soft or really plush. It's going to be on the more responsive end. So when you start comparing it to shoes like the Torrent 2, the Sensorite 3s, you're going to find a lot of similarities, a lot of parallels. As far as comfort's concerned, I imagine myself wearing this for anything under 20 miles, and especially in a race environment or a fast effort environment. My body, I'm a bigger dude, is probably next to be able to go very far in the shoe comfortably. Fit, it is a more precision-based fit. There is some room here in the toe box, which is nice, but you do have this welded overlay all around the base of the upper that does limit how much this upper can stretch or splay or allow a little bit more volume in the shoe. Otherwise, with the precision fit, it's actually really nice, and you're not getting a ton of influence from multiple materials here. It's just a really simple mesh on top of a really nice responsive midsole. Price, I already mentioned it, $159. It's expensive. $160 for a trail shoe that they want you to paint with dirt. I would hope that this would be just a little bit more affordable. And finally, looks. This is certainly going to be up to the eye of the beholder, and it's going to be up to the dirt that you are surrounded by, because apparently you got to paint it yourself with your own dirt. But for now, it's dad boys for life. Bringing us to our final criteria, is the Brooks Catamount a buy, try, or a why? Solid try, because if you are looking for a responsive, snappy, fast trail running shoe that is actually gonna be quite durable and provide you with plenty of protection underfoot, this is a really fun option. There's a lot of shoes in this particular space in the trail running shoe world, so there's going to be a lot of options to choose from. That price point is going to be one of the determining factors for a lot of people. Regardless, I say try it. If you can get a pair on your foot, you might actually find that you do enjoy it, and it might give you the opportunity to just get it dirty. So that, my friends, is my review of the Brooks Catamount. I am super curious. Does this shoe intrigue many of you? I know after the Hyperion Tempo review, many of you were excited about that shoe, this kind of being the trail version of that. Does it excite you as much? Can you get past the design aspects of making it dirty and that's telling the story? Is that something that you can get behind? Let us know in the comments of this video. I'm really curious how many of you are planning on getting a pair. And as always, if you have more questions or you want more information about this shoe, I do have links in the description that will take you over to Running Warehouse. They are affiliate links. They cost you nothing, but they do help the channel out. So consider those if you haven't already. So that's it for this review. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel. Click in the notification bell and being updated anytime a new video has been uploaded. Also, social media links are right there. You can follow us across social media and find out updates about all sorts of things from films, reviews, live shows, all the good stuff. And at the bottom, patreon.com/thegingerrunner. That is how we are able to keep the lights on, the mic's hot here. We're doing daily live shows at the $3 and above levels every single day. So we would hope that you would love to enjoy some of those conversations with us, or go back and watch the archive. It's like 100 hours of content at this point. It's a lot. That's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Get out there, train as hard as you can, virtually race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week. All right, bye-bye.